Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. We're going to go through SPX, NDX, and Apple. A little bit different today. We're going to move along these indicators because I don't think, I haven't looked yet, but I don't think much has changed. Maybe on the 65, we'll check it out. We had some, the BLS revision numbers come out today. I know everybody was looking at it. Negative 911,000 jobs. What the heck is going on there? Clearly no reaction yet. So the market's waiting for something else at this point. We are forming an inning diagonal. We talked about that yesterday. And that looks the same thing as this structure here where you run out of momentum and you're bouncing off the trend line at the top and you're also holding on to the moving averages. So nothing to, not a whole up to update here, but we're doing this intraday about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents, comes with the Discord and trade alerts. We had a couple. We traded Apple yesterday, but I didn't want to hold it into the product presentation today. So maybe that will move markets at 1 p.m. I don't know. We'll see. It's clearly waiting for something. We have PPI tomorrow and CPI the next day. And a lot of times, just keep in mind that I'm not going to go into the numbers and things like that because that's all speculative. But a lot of times the market will move down on one of the numbers and then move up on the, or vice versa on those numbers. So just keep that in mind if you're trading short term. Now, like I said, product presentations coming out at 1 p.m. So I want to show Apple today, and we'll show NDX as well, and emphasize the fact that we're getting higher highs in SPX and lower highs in NDX, and that's a real clear sign that unless we really see some technology start picking up the pace, then that's a divergence in itself, and the technology market can lead us to the downside. So, first indicator, looking at the trend. Trend is up. It's choppy though, and we're into resistance. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're looking at this. It's not all roses here, like this move. The trend is pretty much done. Okay, now price action could break out to the upside from this wedge. That has happened. It can happen, but it is one of those situations where all the divergences pretty much say we're going to reverse at least for a correction. So there's your moving averages. Same thing, like I said, without the trend lines on, you can see that it's just holding on to the moving averages. Let me throw that traditional look here. This is traditional technical analysis where you have support resistance and you have your trend lines. So the top trend line there, price is rejecting off of it. We can also draw a channel as well, and it's losing momentum. You see how vertical this was, and then it started to lose momentum. Nevertheless, holding on to trends. You have this minor trend line here that broke down and then formed a new trend here, which is even more shallow. So that gives signs that there's going to be reversal coming up. Now we're holding on to that 8 EMA. We have an inside day. We have a double inside day right now. And so with that said, with price action getting tight, we're going to see a large move coming up, either up or down. My guess is down. And the reason is because breadth is getting weaker and weaker. We talked about it in the Discord that the breadth was just not looking so good, and you had complacency in the put call ratios. And you have the obviously we're not moving anywhere here. We're pretty much sideways in a neutral spot. But the McClellan oscillator is also giving you the fact that when price is moving up, you don't see confirmation on that move. So let's look at the next indicator. OptionsTender, you can clearly see we have that negative divergence here, but you can clearly see price actions getting really tight, and it's going to resolve to the upside or downside. We'll see we have negative divergence. We're getting our first crossover. Not only is there a sell signal because we're rejecting with negative divergence off of this 80 line here, but we're getting a crossover as well. So in my opinion, I think we're headed lower. I've been saying that for a while, but we're getting a lot more good information to confirm that as well. And all probability, right? So the probability is that we go lower. we're getting it curled down. You can see this trend here. Every once in a while, it gives you a nice trend. When you start to break that, that's when you get your correction. Now, that's a shallow correction there, and that came out of there, but that was a shorting, an objective short, and we certainly shorted that area there, but it held on to all those moving averages, the 20 being the trend indicator. So we have a DMARC. DMARC, we're still counting our way up. We have a 4 count. Do we get to 9? Possible. Do we make another high? Maybe, but I doubt that we're going to get above this channel top that we had a fake break on the top side. But we had that trend. Even though we're starting a channel here, we had that trend line had a fake break to the upside. That gave us that fake break to the downside. So a lot of choppy movement here. Let's go to SPY. And again, SPY, we use this with the, I'd like to put the divergences on here. We like to use the money flow index. I call it the accumulation distribution. And there's other indicators that work the same way, but this is like the RSI, so relative strength, but with volume added in there. So we can see if there's conviction in this buying or not. And we're still in a divergence here, so if this rolls over, I do suspect it will oscillate all the way through, but you can see how good those turns are, whether it's bullish turn here, you have a lower low, you have a higher low, that gave us our move, and these things take time. Typically, on the downside, when you're getting a positive divergence, it doesn't take very long, but on the upside, these things can take like this move here, that was probably almost 2 weeks of price action. It looks very small there. And so you can compare that to 3, almost 4 months of price action here for a reversal. And I know that the divergence started all the way up here, so that's a very, very long time. But the real move after this extension, after you had a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now, this is really what I would compare it to in these instances, is this last move here, which has been, I believe, maybe a couple months or so. Maybe getting there. I'm not going to count it out, but maybe a couple months. So it really takes time for the ship to turn. It's hard to kill a bull is what people say, what traders say. And here we go with the Bollinger Bands. This is important because the Bollinger Bands are getting really tight here, and we're rejecting off of the top. We have a sell signal. If we had a sell signal already, if you would have took that right here with the negative divergence, you would have made a little bit, but you had to get out at the 20, and no follow through yet. And again, we're just waiting on something to occur, and we will expand this this Bollinger Band once again, whether it's to the downside or to the upside. Again, I'm not here to tell you, which way for you to trade, but I think the probability is lower. And the Elliott oscillator, the only thing to talk about this is if price does go higher, you want to see a new peak. All right, this has been a downtrend with lower highs and all the way through this and the green, so clearly it's an uptrend. But this next move here, if you're bullish, you want to see it get across this top here. So that's why we do these each and every day. So if anything really changes with that, we can start to speak about it and say, oh, well, we're probably going in another leg higher or so. All right, so we're done with this. We did a whole video on MJ and MSauce, and MJ is looking really good for the next move here. And we'll just give a traditional look. But it's holding on to its 382 retracement, and we're starting to base off of it, and we're getting real early in this move, but we already jumped in, and we have something to play off of here, and then we're looking for new highs to come up. It could go sideways for some time before breaking out, but we did close this gap, and we'll be looking for new highs, and after that new high, then we'll look for other levels for it to stop at. But I think ultimately we're really looking up here to the upper 50s. MSauce, pretty much the same. This one looks just a little bit different because the downtrend line hasn't broken out yet. Now, they probably will trade pretty much together, but if they do diverge a little bit, you could get a left shoulder head and a right shoulder a little bit lower here. It's possible, but I think ultimately this price action goes higher first and you get a neckline somewhere up here, and then you form a larger left shoulder head, and after getting to higher prices, right shoulder. Now, it doesn't have to. It can do it beforehand and be lopsided, but that's what we'll be looking for if we break out from here. Having a nice move, 8% move here today. Looking good. We own shares in all of these in our growth IRA, and if you want to follow along with our IRA, again, that's in that Discord just for the 99 cents. Okay, so let's move over to NDX. And just real quickly, I have the arrow pointing down because we're comparing it to the 2022 top, where we have higher prices in SPX, lower prices in NDX. That's all I want to show there. Apple. Now, Apple's interesting because it's at an objective short right now, and so that's why we took that quick trade there. But with the news here, we are above resistance, so we could use that as support if it starts to glide down a little bit, or even pop down and then go higher. We do have a Fibonacci retracement. There goes MJ, moving right along. We do have another resistance point up top here around the 248. It also coincides with the 887 retracement, or 886. Can't remember which one it is. And so very, very deep retracement here, but we had the failure of this bearish rising wedge, and I think that Apple will probably make a lower high here as opposed to the rest of the market that's been hitting all-time highs. But just in the near term, I do think there is some room to go up a little bit higher. With our wave count, we had a B wave here, we had an A, B, and we're just looking for a completion. However you might count it, maybe it's not done yet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's all speculative of Elliott wave theory, but we are at resistance right now, and so it doesn't have to. If we break down below 233, it looks like 234, then there's a good chance that this move is over. But it's still holding a potential trend line at this point. All right, and you could start to draw. I guess you could start to draw a wedge here as well. You just form a new line here, start to draw a wedge from the top here. Yeah, you can start forming a wedge here. So maybe that is done. We'll see if this fails or if it gets above here. All right, so let's go to SPY on the 65 and VIX. I want to make sure we keep track of this, probably just on the daily time frames, all that matters. But VIX is holding up really well because of the news that is pending. So I suspect this is not going to go much anywhere. But if it starts to break down into these cycle lows here, then from CPI gapping up and PPI gapping up, or so, whatever the case is, then that will be a tell sign that this is into the cycle phase going lower, and then forget about that higher low. All right, but so far I think this is a good reversal here, a hammer candle, and we'll be looking for a break above these moving averages. SPY. Let's go to 65. All right, on that 65 minute, if you look in the white for the moving averages, that's been a really good trend there. Things were so steep that it didn't even touch it really until we're starting this ending diagonal here, or bearish rising wedge. But you can see if that breaks there, that will be a good sign that the market is starting to get to weaken. And at minimum, I'm looking for a 5 to 10%. To be more precise, 5 to 8% correction before going higher, if we're still bullish at that point. But this very well could be a market top as well. So we're fighting with that resistance point that I had drawn up here. Can't get above it. Even if it peaks above there, that's fine. I did it here. Let's see how this holds. And so far in a bullish posture, you can't complain about that. Just not really going anywhere sideways to higher for now. But we have to let price tell us what's happening. So in the near term, trend is up. Nope. Okay, these divergences are likely to play out. We're trying to get a bear cross here. Again, this could fold up. If we start to make a new high from here, then that could signal that we're probably going to have another wave higher. Just getting tight range here. The slow stoke, we were talking about this earlier, was trying to curl up. Do we actually get that crossover? Then we're probably going higher. But at this point, this still could oscillate lower. Let's see. It's really just, it's not in a spot to really say much. So we'll have to keep looking at that. So our D mark. And we have a 2 count. No setup here. Money flow. Money appears to be flowing out at this point. If it does make a higher high, then do we actually make a lower high here? That's what we'll be paying attention to. Bollinger Band, we had that sell signal. It's getting tight again. Will we reach the top, or will it push up or down? We don't have that answer yet, especially with catalysts coming through. But again, probability with all these resistances and all the negative divergences, then probability is lower. And in the near term, Elliott oscillator, we're making new peaks here. It's moving up. It's actually a lower high from some of the past ones. So overall, I could have that arrow pointing much, from high to low with all the divergences from wave 3 to 5. But in this near term, we don't really have such a thing as like a wave 3 into a wave 5. Maybe if we get a new high, then we'll get some sort of lower high coming here. But we don't have a setup in particular from this one right now. Okay. That's what we got for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for all the support, you guys. We will see you in the next video.